gonna try to get through this. Hey guys, welcome back to another match review. Honestly, I am forcing myself to try to get this review done because I have things that I want to talk about, but I'm also just really frustrated by that game. And so I'm trying to be as rational as possible to always give you guys that perspective in my videos. But I'm a fan just like anybody else, and I'm really disappointed after that really terrible Chelsea performance, especially with top 4 on the line. So let's get right into it. 5 key takeaways from Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. In the first half, Kai Havertz had a really good opportunity where he won the ball back in a dangerous area, and he did all of the hard work. All that was left to do was slide it into the back of the net, but he skied it, and that really proved to be a massive missed opportunity. That should have been 1-0 there. Instead, it's 0-0, and yet again, this theme of Chelsea just not taking their chances. Then we go to one of the worst back passes that I have probably ever seen. It is basic to look before you make a back pass, especially in front of goal. And even then, I would think that you would try to do it more to the right or to the left of the goal, but not down the middle of the goal. I saw some people on Twitter saying, oh, well, maybe he wasn't used to Kepa in that position. Maybe Mendy would have been in a different position. Still, I don't care. You look before you pass in that situation. He just had his eyes on the ground. It's a terrible mistake. And Aubameyang and Smith Rowe did really good to finish off that chance after Kepa made a really good save. I thought that we were clear for a second, but unfortunately not. And yeah, 1-0 to Arsenal, and it's just downhill from there. So that kind of brings me to my first point. Jorginho is such a divisive player, and I don't think he's as good as people make him out to be, or as bad as people make him out to be. I think he is a good player on his days, but then he has really terrible games as well. Like, the highs are high, but the lows are low. And I think that kind of sums up Jorginho. I'm not blaming this entire performance on him, not at all. The team was not good, but that was a really, really poor mistake to make. Rather you make it in this game instead of a cup final or something like that, but still. After Arsenal got that goal, it just was feeling like one of those games. It was just feeling like wherever it happened, Chelsea could have a million chances and they could have 200 minutes, but they wouldn't find the back of the net. Just extremely unlucky. And I think that this brings me to my second point. Like, there's still those mentality issues still in that dressing room, because we've seen that the team can perform really well against the likes of Man City, against Real Madrid, against Atletico, against Porto, against Liverpool, etc. We can play against really big teams, but for some reason, there's this mentality issue when it comes to teams in the bottom of the table, or in Arsenal's case, in the middle of the table, in 9th place. Chelsea should be beating this side, especially with top 4 on the line, especially with Leicester having won and it being even a tighter race. You should be doing better. You should have more urgency when you play in those games. And I didn't see urgency until the last 5 or 10 minutes of the second half. So I think that there is still some mental work that needs to be done, because we should have been pushing for a second from the beginning. Now, key points 3 and 4 kind of go hand in hand. So key point 3 is that Chelsea still are not clinical enough in the box. There was a stat that said Chelsea usually need 10 chances to convert 1. 10% conversion rate. That is not good enough. And you really saw it today. Chelsea had at least, I don't know, 5 or 6 chances, I think maybe more than that, and just didn't convert any of them. Some were unlucky, some went off of the crossbar, but some was just poor decision making. And I think overall the decision making from the team in the final third was just completely off. In hand with that decision making, I did not see enough players in the 6-yard box. I did not. We would go to cross a ball in, and there would be one blue shirt or maybe 2 blue shirts surrounded by 6 or 7 Arsenal red shirts. And it just wasn't enough. How do you expect to score a goal when you're not making the runs into the box? And there were many balls that Arsenal had to defend, and we could have perfectly got into a second ball from a rebound and scored, I felt. And we didn't do that. The only time that we really saw that was when Pulisic scored offside. And VAR decided to check it when they hadn't checked many other things, and it just feels like it's been used like sporadically, just whenever they want it. But that's besides the point. So Chelsea's lack of finishing, the lack of decision making, not being clinical enough, not having enough bodies in the box, all kind of wraps up into some of my other points. Okay, point number 5. The subs just felt off today. Callum came on at halftime for Billy Gilmour. I thought that Gilmour actually had a pretty decent first half, all things considering. And I understand that Tuchel went with seniority in playing Jorginho over him. But I thought that Callum did not really offer that much when he came on. I didn't think Giroud really offered that much, but I don't even blame him because he hasn't played. So when you haven't played in so long and you don't have consistent game time, it's really hard to just come into a game and affect a change and score a goal. I was hoping that he was going to do it against Arsenal, but you know. And then Ziyech, I actually thought that Ziyech was like the most effective sub. He was finding some interesting passes, but it just wasn't good enough. It just wasn't. But I think like the main point here is not only were the subs not good enough, the team just wasn't good enough. And I expect to see more from a team fighting for top 4 in a London derby. And it's just so frustrating. Like, why are you giving that to Arsenal? They didn't even play well. If they played well and really deserved that win, I would say fine. They just outclassed us. That's okay, it happens. But they didn't. They had a poor game and they've been in poor form. Now we've just made it hard for ourselves. It feels like we want to get Champions League next season by winning the Champions League. Like, we need to be winning all of these games. So now it's a must win against Leicester, and then you have another difficult game against Aston Villa. And not only that, but you would ideally want to try to rest some players before the Champions League final when playing against Aston Villa, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be possible anymore. So just a really crappy game. I'm in a bad mood now, and it's like already almost 12 o'clock and I don't know how I'm gonna sleep because I'm just not a happy camper right now. Also, you're gonna look to put this loss behind them in the FA Cup final against Leicester on Saturday. I expect to see a completely different team performance. We better show up, and then like I mentioned, a massive game against Leicester midweek as well. Overall, just not good enough game. You want to see more fight for a top 4 spot. That didn't happen today. It's not over yet, but we just love to make things hard on ourselves. So, hope that this was somewhat insightful a little bit. I tried my very best, you guys. I really did, but I'm just sad after that loss. I feel like we should have at least gotten a draw, so that's frustrating. But anyways, if you managed to get through this video, I really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to my thoughts after that boring game, and hopefully we can see a better game on Saturday. If you like this video, drop it a like. I know it sucks, but it helps me out a lot. Subscribe to my channel, and I have a lot more content planned for the rest of the season, so make sure to not miss that. Until next time, I'm out.